Dawn breaks over a soggy stretch of ancient tundra. A cold wind screeches past your cave like it just remembered it left the fire on. You're swaddled in mammoth hide, cradling a lukewarm tuber like it's emotional support food. When it happens. A sound. Soft. Wet. Alarmingly inquisitive. You freeze mid-chew. The tuber hangs from your mouth like it wants no part in this. No one speaks. Slowly, painfully, 10 heads pivot toward the source. One person stares at the wall like it just revealed the secrets of the universe. Another inspects a pebble with the intensity of someone pretending not to hear their own name at a party. Congratulations, someone just farted in the cave, and this is about to be the most socially significant moment of the entire day. Because in the Paleolithic age, farts weren't just embarrassing accidents. They were tribal events, symbolic acts, occasionally the cause of winter exiles. So today, we're lighting the fire, sealing the entrance, and diving loincloth deep into a question no textbook dared to print. What did cavemen actually do when someone farted in the cave? Let's get one thing straight. Caves were not large. They weren't echoey echo chambers of romantic solitude. They were cramped, humid, multi-purpose smell dungeons, where 20 to 40 unwashed humans ate, slept, yelled, snored, and slowly went nose-blind together over time. There were no walls, no ventilation, no such thing as personal space. Your designated sleep area, somewhere between the fire pit and Uncle Grub's foot fungus. The air inside was thick, emotionally and physically. Every night, the entire band huddled together like a pile of sweaty, prehistoric puppies. Their bodies radiated heat, musk, steam, indecision, and the faint but unmistakable aura of communal flatulence denial. The atmosphere could best be described as charred root vapor, burned mammoth fat, wet hair, possibly not human, and a lingering pinch of regret and mushrooms that might have been sentient. It was an environment held together by shared hardship, fire smoke, and the mutual agreement to pretend none of it was weird. But then, add one fart, and the balance shifted violently. Instantly, the cave transformed from cozy hunter-gatherer cuddle pile into a fully pressurized meat sauna of shame. And it wasn't just about the smell. No, it was about the silence that followed. A silence so heavy, it crushed small rodents. A silence louder than any saber-tooth roar, more damning than forgetting your aunt's berry festival. It was the kind of silence that made people reevaluate their spiritual beliefs. A silence filled with tension, judgment, and unspoken tribal codes. A silence that said, "We know it was you, Brog." And Brog? Brog stared at the fire like it owed him alimony, refusing to blink, hoping his clenched jaw would somehow erase the auditory evidence. But the damage was done. Even the flames crackled more cautiously after that. The cave society didn't have written language, but it definitely had categories. Experts, okay, it's just me, have officially identified at least 5 legendary Paleolithic fart types. The blame ghost. Gentle, elusive, vanishes fast but leaves behind a fog of accusation. No one claims it, but everyone mentally convicts the oiliest uncle. The thunder mammoth, explosive, heroic, ricochets off the cave walls like a mammoth's mating call, often followed by a chest puff and a grunt of unearned pride. The betrayal strikes mid-squat or heartfelt story, sometimes mid-flirt. Trust is lost, love dies. The cave may never emotionally recover. The stealth tuber, dead quiet, rooted in last night's tragic stew, smells like onions that got divorced, has caused tears, once ended a wedding, the group cleanse, one batch of spoiled moss, one tribe, total fallout, the cave becomes a war crime. Dignity is over, so is breathing. You'd think early humans were too busy fighting extinction to care about farts. Wrong. Caveman society ran on unwritten laws, and no law was stricter than the gas code. Rule 1, deny everything, even if moss curls and your body's still humming. Blame the dog, blame the wind, blame angry cave spirits. Rule 2, no eye contact. If you hear it, look away. To acknowledge is to perish socially. Rule 3. Don't laugh first. First laugh equals first accused. Fart guilt is like fire. It spreads fast and burns reputations. Rule 5. During mating dances, farts are percussion. Rhythm saves lives. Just clap on the beat and move on. The cave was a pressure cooker. Not just warm, but volatile. You lived elbow to elbow with your entire gene pool, your crush 3 feet away, your rival breathing down your neck, and absolutely no such thing as privacy. Then, someone farted. It bounced off the cave walls like a battle cry. No one twitched. No one dared inhale. One person's eyes glazed over. Another tried to cough it away, like sound would somehow fight smell. The baby whimpered. All heads turned like a suspicious herd of elk. Brog sat motionless, poking the fire like he just invented innocence. It was obviously Brog. 'Cause here's the truth. Cave farts weren't just foul, they were social grenades. But also, inescapably, shamefully hilarious. The silence cracked. A snort, then a tiny wheeze, then Grok, deadpan perfect, delivered the first ever caveman joke. Why did the mammoth run from the cave? Because Una farted during the root ceremony. Explosion, pure chaos, laughter everywhere. Someone dropped a cooking rock. Someone else farted from sheer joy, and just like that, unity was restored. And everyone still blamed Brog. Not every tribe treated farts the same way. Across the Paleolithic world, unique customs emerged. Some standout traditions included the Whisper Society. A fart wasn't the issue. The issue was etiquette. You had to lean over and whisper, "I'm sorry," to the nearest elder. Didn't matter if it was yours or not. Fart guilt was a communal burden. The point and gasp protocol, as soon as someone caught a whiff, they had to gasp dramatically and point like they'd spotted a saber-tooth. This triggered a rapid-fire blame spiral, ending in either a sheepish confession or someone aggressively rearranging firewood to avoid eye contact. The shamanic interpretation, farts were sacred messages. The shaman would close his eyes and murmur. The spirits say, "Lay off the fermented beetroot," and everyone nodded like that made sense. The dance of dispersion. Someone grabbed a stick, began stomping in frantic circles, and chanted a cleansing spell. Few things were more dangerous than farting near a potential mate. Seriously, you could survive a hyena ambush. You could leap out of a flash flood. You could eat glowing fungus and just nap it off. But fart during a romantic moment? Absolute extinction level event. Picture it. You've spent days carving a flawless bone comb from the finest rib shard you could scavenge. You offered up your crispiest tuber tip, the golden edge piece. You even surrendered your prime fire-adjacent sleeping spot so she wouldn't have to draft sniff the cave mouth breeze. And now, it's time. The fire crackles gently. Moonlight dances on your freshly rinsed teeth, all 6. You lean in with your smoothest grunt. You're about to murmur something deep, like, "Nice moss in your hair," and then your guts betray you. Not a polite, squeaky squeal you can blame on a squirrel. Not something you can bury under a stick shuffle. No. This is a full-bodied, cave-filling foghorn. The kind of fart that echoes off rock. The kind that startles small birds into mid-air reevaluation. Then comes the scent. Dense, emotional. It smells like heartbreak, boiled despair, and haunted tubers. It's done. You know, she knows. Even the fire visibly recoils, sparking like it's crawling away. You try to play it cool. Maybe it was the log? She's not buying it. She's already stepping back, toward Twig the Gatherer. Twig, who smells like smugness and wildflower oil. Twig, who once tied moss into a bracelet that spelled respect in root code. Twig, who has never farted in public, so he claims. You watch as she giggles at his pine nut pun, and you just stand there, sweaty, ashamed, holding a bone comb no one asked for. Love hurts, and so does lentil stew. Naturally, some farts became legend. These weren't mere digestive slip-ups. They were cultural touchstones, revered incidents, echoed by firelight whispers, etched into cave walls by soot-stained hands. Not remembered with shame, but with reverence. Consider, for instance, the great fart of Grubnox. A cherished tale, a dire warning, a prehistoric earthquake. Grubnox, after devouring a honey root banquet meant for 12, released a detonation so violent it snuffed the fire and echoed through the cave for 3 entire minutes. 3 entire minutes. Elders claim a toddler was blown over. The shaman's eyebrows were never seen again. A bat fell from the ceiling mid-slight. Then there was the echo of the hollow boulder, now studied by ancient sound theorists. Someone, anonymously, but come on, it was ripped one inside a perfectly round rock chamber. It bounced and bounced and bounced for hours. It sounded like a ghost with digestive trauma. One elder swore it whispered their name. And yes, there is cave art. Crude, emotional, unforgettable. Stick figures crouched in agony, stink lines swirling, a mammoth fleeing in mid-sprint. One massive spiral of charcoal simply titled The Event. If they had tour guides, they'd charge extra to see it. Cave kids loved farts. They didn't care about shame, status, or subtlety. They tooted freely, constantly, and with acoustics that could scare a fox. Popular games included Who Farted? No winners, only trauma. Fart Tag. If you fart, you're it. Silent but Dudley, a stealth-based hide-and-seek spin-off that usually ended with an elder yelling and someone crying from the smell. The elders acted irritated, gave big sighs, shook their heads, but deep down, they laughed. Because in cave times, childhood ended with your first hook, and after that, the age of fart innocence was over. Desperate to control the stink spiral, tribes invented fart management systems. The ventilation twig, a large feathered branch used to wave fart particles toward the exit. The flatulence pit, a designated farting corner lined with absorbent moss. The stink stick, whoever held it was assumed to be the farter, and had to sleep closer to the entrance for the night. Then there was the root cleanse ceremony, where the tribe consumed specific herbs to restore inner calm and silence. It did not work. If anything, it made the farts louder. But at least now, they smelled like peppermint and denial. Every tribe had one person, the chronic farter, the repeat offender, the wind instrument of chaos. In this tribe, it was Coco. Coco didn't just fart. Coco announced it. He would lock eyes with someone, lift one leg, and say, "Thunder comes." He ruined rituals, interrupted arguments, disrupted sleeping arrangements. Once, he farted during a lightning storm and claimed credit for the thunder. But here's the thing, Coco was beloved. Because Coco owned it. He made it a performance. He made it safe. In a world where shame could crush you faster than a falling tree, Coco gave people permission to be human, loudly and repeatedly. Modern life is different. We have doors now, fans, Febreze, entire bathrooms meticulously designed for acoustic privacy and airflow optimization. Our chairs are padded, our floors don't echo. You can blame a squeaky shoe, a faulty cushion, or the dog, even if you don't have one. We live in a world where farts can be hidden, denied, even digitally edited out of a podcast. But deep down, we still carry the cave inside us. That nervous chuckle when a friend lets one slip during game night. That involuntary smirk across a classroom when the silence breaks just a little too rudely. That collective tension in a car after taco night when the windows are locked and someone's pretending to be asleep. We all know the moment. You hear it, you pause. Your brain short circuits between social contracts and biological reality. You must choose. Do you pretend nothing happened and die slowly inside? Or do you laugh, acknowledge, and move on together? Cavemen made that call too, only they didn't have windows or plausible deniability, just a fire, some moss, and the fragile threads of communal trust. And somehow, that made it more human. That is ancient. Because farting in a cave wasn't just about smell. It was about survival. It was about group dynamics. It was about forgiveness. It was about being human and still choosing to sleep next to someone even if their insides sounded like a haunted tree stump. So the next time someone farts near you, don't recoil in horror. Don't exile them from the fire circle. Instead, channel your inner Coco. Offer them a knowing glance, maybe a respectful nod, maybe a ventilation twig. Because in the end, farting in the cave wasn't a scandal. It was a test, a ritual, a stinky little reminder that we're all stuck in the same humid, echoey, awkward cave together. And somehow, we're still surviving. One toot at a time.